What happens when the person behind some of your favorite songs can barely afford to eat? This is Kevin McCall. You might not know his face, but you've definitely heard his work. Deuces, Strip, those early Chris Brown classics that had everyone in their feelings back in 2010. Yeah, Kevin wrote those. But here's the thing nobody tells you about the music industry. Fame doesn't always mean fortune. A few days ago, Kevin sat down for what seemed like a regular podcast interview on Back on Fig. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. The 40-year-old singer-songwriter broke down on camera and pulled out his EBT card, his food stamp card, for everyone to see. "I'm on EBT, bro." His voice cracked. Tears rolled down his face. And in that moment, he wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't a hitmaker. He was just a man struggling to survive. Think about that for a second. The same hands that wrote songs millions of people sang along to, those hands are now swiping an EBT card just to eat. How does that even happen? Here's where it gets complicated. According to Kevin, Chris Brown still owes him $25,000 for 4 songs they worked on together. 4 songs. Now, we don't know Chris Brown's side of the story. Maybe there's paperwork. Maybe there's label red tape. Maybe Kevin's waiting on royalties that take years to process. The music business is messy like that. But imagine putting your heart and soul into creating art that makes someone else millions, and you're still waiting to get paid? That's the reality for so many songwriters and producers in the industry. They're the invisible architects of hits, but when the checks roll in, they're often the last ones to see a dime. And Kevin, he's been waiting and struggling, and now the world knows. So the clip goes viral, right? Millions of views, everyone's talking about it. Some people are shocked, others are heartbroken. And then Young Thug sees it. And without hesitation, Thugga jumps on X, formerly Twitter, and writes, "Kevin McCall hit me, my nigga. I'll give you the $25K you need, and I know CB would give it to you also, bro. He a real one. Niggas is busy sometimes, brother." $25,000 out of his own pocket? No cameras, no press conference, just pure generosity. And the internet erupted. People called it a real one move. Fans praised Thug for stepping up when he didn't have to. Because here's the thing. Young Thug and Kevin McCall, they're not even collaborators. They're from different worlds in the industry. But Thug saw a brother hurting and decided to help. When was the last time you saw something like that? In an industry known for egos and competition, this was just human. Now, if you've been following Kevin McCall over the years, you know his story. It's not just about unpaid royalties. This man has been through it. He's had a very public custody battle with his ex, Eva Marcille. You know her from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Back in 2019, Kevin was arrested after a courtroom scuffle during one of those hearings. There were erratic social media posts, fans worried about his mental health. In 2023, he served 90 days in jail for assaulting an ex-girlfriend and was ordered to pay her $1.5 million. So when Kevin broke down on that podcast, it wasn't just about money. It was about everything. The legal battles, the lost custody, the feeling of being forgotten by an industry he helped build. It was years of pain pouring out all at once. And maybe that's why so many people felt it so deeply. Here's what gets me about this whole situation. Kevin McCall is talented. Nobody disputes that. He's got the credits, the hits, the proof. But the system? The system failed him. And he's not alone. There are so many producers, writers, and artists who shaped the soundtrack of our lives, and they're struggling in silence. Think about it. How many times have you streamed Deuces? How many times did that song play at a party, in your car, at the club? And the man who created it is on food stamps. That's not right. But here's the hopeful part. The internet rallied. Young Thug stepped up. People are talking about artist compensation now, about royalties, about how we treat the unsung heroes of music. Maybe, just maybe, this moment becomes a turning point, not just for Kevin, but for everyone like him. You know what's beautiful about Young Thug's gesture? He didn't have to do it. He's got his own battles, his own career, his own life. But he chose to show up. And in a world that often feels cold and transactional, that means everything. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We all struggle. We all need help sometimes. And when someone extends a hand, that's when the real magic happens. As of now, Kevin hasn't publicly responded to Thug's offer, but sources say it lifted his spirits. Fans are rallying. Old collaborators are reaching out. People are tagging Chris Brown, hoping he'll do the right thing too. And Kevin, he's still here, still creating, still fighting. Because here's the thing about resilience. It's not about never falling down. It's about getting back up every single time. And Kevin's story, it's far from over. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt overlooked, undervalued, like you gave your all and it still wasn't enough? Drop a comment below. Share your story. Because sometimes just knowing you're not alone, that changes everything. And if you believe in second chances, in redemption, in the power of community lifting each other up, hit that like button. Share this video. Let's keep this conversation going. Because Kevin McCall's story, it's not just his story. It's ours. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed. And always remember, real ones always recognize real ones.